putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
The end of the world.
I just love hearing Gorka say that. The end of the world. Oh, my goodness. Such a beautiful bass tone to it, you know. The end of the world. I can't even do it. It's a bad day for me to do it anyway because I've been sick. Told you guys I've been sick. Brother, been sick, and you didn't even know it. Did anybody send me flowers? Did you send me chocolates? No. You sent me nothing. and you could hear it. I know you could hear it in my voice. You could hear it, right? I mean, you guys have seen me hacking off air. So you know I've been sick. Look, I've been sick, America. But you didn't even know it because the show must go on. Oh, my goodness. The end of the world. That's what the left says. But I want to play this clip. This is Adam Schiff talking about how the Russians were Well, you know what? Before we do that, let's do this. Let's talk about let's play the Napolitano thing with the Steele relationship and how it's involved with the FBI, and then I want to get into the Schiff thing because I just find this really interesting. Where Adam Schiff he says things that are so bad and he doesn't even realize it. But let's play the other one first.
Just to sort of go back, because we've got a web of this up on the wall, which we're going to show everybody in a moment.
Right.
But to go back to what Ed was reporting there, it's outlined that a foreign source gave the information to in this dossier, second dossier, to an unnamed associate of Hillary and Bill Clinton, and this is all during the campaign,
right,
who then gives it to someone in the Obama State Department.
Right.
So give this to just leak this information over to them, who then gave the information to Steele. So it keeps going around and around and around, and you're looking for the foundation of where the meat is underneath it.
And at the same time this was happening, the FBI was conducting a fraudulent and deceptive investigation of Mrs. Clinton's improper handling of emails, arguably espionage, the failure to safeguard state secrets. So the Clintons were using enormous arms of the government, State Department, Justice Department, FBI, to assure that she not be prosecuted and to attempt to assure that Donald Trump not become president. But Steele, Chris Steele, the now former MI6, that's the British version of the CIA agent, presents a very interesting problem here. This is the issue. This is the wording in the memo that came out last week, the Republican memo, that the FBI and the DOJ fought aggressively against. And it's the following reference to Chris Steele as, quote, a longtime FBI asset. To most people, you'd say, all right, the FBI has all kinds of assets. Well, he is a former British intelligence agent. We have an agreement with the British government, Canadian, New Zealand, Australia. We will exchange information. We will not cherry-pick each other's agents. He apparently was cherry-picked by the FBI. If this happened while he was an MI6 agent, he could be prosecuted for espionage by the British government for being a British spy at the same time he was an American spy.
So that phrase in the memo that he was a longtime FBI asset, we know he was doing work for them. They were interested in his work. There's still, I think, some discrepancy over whether or not they were paying him, but they also say that they released him at some point.
Yes.
So they had some kind of relationship, whether it was monetary or not.
I think they had a monetary relationship, and at some point they decided either it wasn't credible or we can't trust you because you have become a leaker. And leaking classified material is a line that cannot be crossed, Mr. Steele, so you're no longer with us. Now, he left MI6 in 2009. This is very serious stuff. If before he left MI6, he was an FBI asset, the Justice Department and the FBI, which is not run today by the same people that were running it then. We're talking about Eric Holder and Jim Comey, has an enormous problem on its hand. That would explain...
2009 is a long time ago.
Correct.
We're talking about the 2016 campaign. But
correct.
Can you prove that there was an overlap in his MI6 time and in his FBI asset time?
We don't know.
But you know they were upset about that line in the memo.
Yes, and I know that Congressman Nunes intentionally used the ambiguous phrase long time. Does it go back to 2009 or before, or did it happen afterwards? I also know that that explains the ferocity with which the FBI tried to prevent this from coming out.
Well, that was an interesting take. You know what? I got to admit, Napolitano, when he comes on, he's imparting knowledge on you that you may not know. That's a good thing. Glad you guys are back, still hanging in there with me. Kevin Jackson's who you're listening to. I want to get now to this clip of what Schiff said and all of this Russian collusion and interference stuff. And I want to present to you the theory, as Adam Schiff sees it, with how all this is coming to be and why it's coming to be. And then when I pick it apart, you'll understand why I played it. Here we go.
But we can see, for example, on Facebook, so graphically what I was mentioning earlier, the multiple aims of the Russians and their interference in our elections. Because, yes, on Facebook you had the content that was clearly anti-Hillary, and you had the content that was very pro-Trump. But even the bigger quantity of content that was being pushed through social media was just content designed to pit us against each other, to exploit our divisions. So, of course, they, as you have seen, they parroted Black Lives Matter to try to broaden the racial divide in this country. Fascinatingly, they also trumpeted the Second Amendment. Apparently, the Russians are very big fans of our Second Amendment. They don't particularly want a Second Amendment of their own, but they're really glad that we have one. The Russians would be thrilled if we were doing nothing but killing each other every day, and sadly, we are.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. I almost covered that clip as its separate entity, but I just decided, you know what? We'll just weave it in with all the Russian conspiracy stuff. So the biggest conspiracy and what Adam Schiff, probably the most anti-American, worst politician I've known in history. I didn't think I could not like somebody more than Schumer or Pelosi or Harry Reid. And then along comes Adam Schiff. And as they say, he's a piece of Schiff. He says, get this, that Facebook was anti-Hillary and pro-Trump. Do I really need to say anything more? Facebook, who bans conservatives for things that you go, what was I banned for? I will tell you, I have posted things that are, I said, now this was Twitter, but I'll just give you an example. I asked Hillary Clinton and Ashley Judd if they had a term for Uncle Tom on the left because of they both sort of ignored Harvey Weinstein. And I was banned on Twitter for a week. On Facebook, I've been banned for so much less than that. Asking a question of somebody, not intimidating, not harassing. Maybe it's a bit sarcastic, but hey, guess what? That's just the nature of the beast right there, baby. But I've been banned. I've been banned on Facebook no less than 3 times. I can remember easily for 30 days for nothing. Sometimes it's things that other people have put on the page for nothing. It's crazy. And he wants you to believe that Facebook was anti-Hillary, pro-Trump. They got Zuckerberg to do a whole exhaustive analysis. And of course, I don't know what they even came back with, because there's no way Zuckerberg was going to come back and go, yeah, you're right, we were totally pro-Trump. They were completely anti-Trump. I'm talking about banning pages, completely getting rid of pages, not letting you be seen in people's feeds. It's ridiculous. So that's just a lie. But here's what I really like. He says they pitted us against each other to exploit our division. Where was this guy through the 8 years of Barack Obama? I'm always curious when they go, these people are not, they're divisions. They want to divide us. They want to, put rich against poor. What are you talking about? That is exactly what the left does all day long and twice on Sundays. And then I don't even know where this came from, because he says they parroted BLM. Okay, so let's say they did. The Russians were parroting BLM. Why do you care? This is a leftist who fully supports Black Lives Matter, and he's saying that was meant to influence the election. What? It was going to get us so worked up, conservatives were going to get so worked up over BLM, and the Russians parroting it was the reason? Let me tell you something, Adam Schiff. We were already pissed at BLM before any Russian ever decided to do anything about them. I've been calling these guys terrorists and clowns since it started. I've said the movement is a lie. It is built on nothing more than leftist dissension and derisiveness, and that's what they want. And he wants to blame the Russians for this. As if look, maybe the Russians do want to see us apart, but no more so than Barack Obama, no more so than the Congressional Black Caucus, no more so than the enabling white, I call them bourgeois cocktail sippers. And then he jumps into the Second Amendment. They trumpeted the Second Amendment. Yeah, they're really fans of our Second Amendment, but they don't have theirs. He's even wanting to make guns about the Russians. Is that a level of desperation you've ever seen?
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.